every week, 10 weeks in a row, it's all done. Are you glad it's over? Or are you
No, I'm going to be bummed out on Tuesday, next Tuesday. You know, everybody is. Everybody around here loves it. So, yeah, and you know, I was talking about a second season. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to pull off a second season.
It's just the number of prospects.
Yeah, it's just yeah, just 100 fights. It's tough to you know, find that many guys again.
Yeah, no doubt. Let me ask you about tonight, TJ Brown. It seemed like in your speech leading up to giving him the contract, it seemed like you were giving him the easy letdown, and then you said, we're going to give him a shot. So
yeah, well, it's the truth. That was the truth. I mean, when you look at his record, he was just above 500, you know, coming in, and he's 29, and you know, I'm looking for the next guy or girl that, you know, to be it. So normally I wouldn't, but you know, I like the kids. He fought his ass off, got dropped in that first round, and loves to fight. I loved his story, and you know, there was a lot of talk the first couple of weeks. I'm looking for finishes. I'm not looking for finishes. Finishes help, you know. If you come in and look spectacular and make it impossible for me to say no to you, you know, that's one thing, but that's not all I'm looking for.
The guy he was fighting, Dylan Locker, I mean, he did take an illegal knee to the head, right? I mean, obviously you wouldn't give him a contract on that, but like, do you almost, I don't want to say like give him a pass or say that maybe we'll take a look at this guy, because he could have just ducked out of the fight, right, and said, I'm out.
Yeah, no, he definitely could have. You know, that's why the kid, I'll be honest with you, the kid who took the thumb to the eye, thumbs happen. Thumbs happen, man. When that referee comes over, I'm not telling anybody to put themselves in harm's way, and if you can't see, you should fight anyway. But, you know, when you get here, this is a whole nother level. I mean, we've seen some guys take some shit in fights and continue to fight. And I'm going to give that other kid a shot at looking for a fight. I'm going to we're doing a show in Hawaii, so.
You know when that's happening?
October.
What is it about Sosa-Lee that made you want to give him that chance? Like, he's been on the Ultimate Fighter.
The kid didn't get a chance to really fight tonight. I mean, you know, you heard the story. You know what I love? I love how he says he lays in bed every night and it plays over and over in his head and he's got nothing but regret. Then he fucking shows up tonight and gets a thumb in the eye and the kid quits. So he hasn't had a very good run. So I'm going to give him, hopefully the third time's a charm for this kid, and he can show us what he's got.
Barrett, you mentioned the Boston ties, but you had that crazy backstory as well. I know you come in clean, but like when you watch the video, I mean, does that kind of factor in, like seeing what that guy went through to get here?
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, fuck, you got to be a heartless son of a bitch not to give this guy a shot after. And he beat a stud. I mean, he beat an undefeated, badass kid that was supposed to win. So you got to give this kid a shot.
He wants to be on the Boston card. He says he can help sell you some tickets. You think you turn around that quick?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he can turn around that quick. Listen, you get caught up in here and, you know, you get fired up and you win your fight, and can he really make the weight? You know, if he can make the weight, I'll throw him on the Boston card. Yeah.
Kasangane, it seems like a natural for a developmental deal. I mean, I know he's only been fighting for 9 months, but what he did in there tonight was...
Yeah, I don't know. He did, but I saw it. That kid's so fucking green, he's glowing. It's just, for me to take a kid that green, who am I going to put him against? And then to give him a development deal, even if I put him in a development deal, I can't fight him 5 times this year. You know what I mean? He can literally get out there and get some fights, and he's a fun, exciting kid for one of these other shows they have and, you know, fight for them. So let this guy get out there. He's young. He's 25 years old. You know, he's not in his prime for 3 more years, and he's a stud athlete. Let this guy take. He's in no fucking hurry. He's in a hurry, but he shouldn't be in a hurry. He should take his time, and that kid can really make something of himself. We'll see him again.
Yeah, last thing we had tonight's card, Dushko, as you said, I mean, he showed a lot. It was obvious the kid's got talent. But
worst game plan ever. I mean, I can say that, but he won the fight. But apparently, they've never seen this show before, and they don't know. You know.
They don't have this.
Yeah, and I'll give you this too. You know, I hated his game plan. You know, I didn't like the fight. The list goes on and on. But when they clapped that 10-second thing, those two started swinging, and they were both throwing punches. He didn't try to push him against the fence again. He didn't try to run and go, I know I got this fight. He stood in there and he threw punches, and there were little things. As much as many things as I hated, there were a lot of things that I liked too that Now the kid's 9-0, and we'll chalk it up to bad game plan, flights. Fucking, I don't know, man. Whatever reason he fought the way that he fought tonight. Oh, and let's also say the first time he's ever gone to a decision was tonight. So, I don't know. Yeah.
I'll join you in being bummed out next Tuesday, as I think we all will.
Thank you.
When can we expect to see some more events at the Apex? I know when you gave us the tour, you talked about doing other things here.
Yeah, so the Ultimate Fighter, I'm still working on the deal for the Ultimate Fighter. And then in October, stuff's going to start ramping up here. We're relaunching Fight Pass in October, and I will announce Zuffa Boxing in October too.
Since this venue is so much bigger than the old Tough Gym,
Yeah.
will we still be allowed to come to these fights, or is it going to be closed, like Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, you can come to the Ultimate Fighter fights. Yeah, as long as you guys don't write anything until before the fights come out. I love having you guys. Listen, most of you, if not all of you, love this shit as much as I do and love the fights as much as I do. I want you guys to be able to experience as much of this as possible. So anything that I do over here, we'll figure out a way for those of you that are interested to come and watch.
Awesome. Barrett really fights like a Bostonian, How did he get on y'all's radar, I wonder?
That I don't know. The matchmakers. I come in the night of the fights, like tonight, and this is kind of a catch-22. I think I talked to you guys about this before. I don't see any of these guys. I don't know anything about them except when I start posting on my social media, the stuff that's coming up the day of. I try to keep a clean slate. I don't want to know anything about them until I come in, which is great because I love how it plays out for me tonight. But on the flip side, I'm the one that promotes all the fucking fights. Like that story, I'd have been telling that story, I'd have told it a lot better and a lot earlier. And I know we did get some. It was out there. ESPN covered that story, and I don't know if any of you did, but
I remember Chuck, you had a fantastic story.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know if I answered your question. I hope I did.
You've been mentioning the Ultimate Fighter, kind of like, but it seems like tonight you seem to be mentioning it more concretely.
Well, so imagine this kid tonight that I said is too young. Imagine this kid doing a stint on the Ultimate Fighter. 5-6 weeks here under a really good team that we build and having to fight and make weight and everything else. The Ultimate Fighter, if you look throughout history, and I know media and hardcore fans have talked shit about the Ultimate Fighter for years and whatever. Say what you want. There's nothing better in taking young, talented guys, bringing them in here and having them deal with all the pressure that they have to deal with on the Ultimate Fighter. These guys go on to become legends, man, and world champions and people who are built to last in the UFC for a long time.
Do you have concrete plans for when it's going to return?
Yeah, ASAP. We're working on it right now. I'm working on a new TV deal for it. So we're still trying to hammer this thing out.
Kind of building on his stage of other events. We saw Shannon Knapp here today from Invicta kind of wandering around. I mean, are there plans to have like Fight Pass events here in the Apex yet?
If Shannon gets her way, yeah, there will be. Yeah, so Shannon wants to bring Invicta to Vegas and wants to do the fights here at the Apex. So I told her we'll figure it out.
Is that something she's hoping to piggyback, maybe a Friday night before?
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense, which I love too because I'll go to the fights, Yeah, I'm sure all of you guys too. Imagine if we had all the Invicta fights here on a Friday leading up to the fights on Saturday. It'd be fun.
Closing out another contender series season tonight. Obviously, this year was much bigger than the one previous.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're already thinking about for season 4 contender series?
No. I mean, we just finished this one, so I wanted to do 2, and I was pushing these guys really hard. But as they start showing me the level of talent out there, there's just not enough. We got to let the pond fill up again, if you will, and for next summer.
Dana, adding on to what you said about Kasanya and even the developmental deal you came across, you said what you're looking for as far as the fighter's age and records. I know you come in here blind, and I understand the strategy to that, but maybe next season, is there any kind of discussion that maybe you have with the matchmakers as far as I liked a lot of these guys you were pulling. Maybe these guys didn't do so much. And again, the underexperienced guys overperform. I love your take on that. But I'm just wondering, is there going to be any dialogue with the matchmakers as far as guys in here who not just can perform, but will also be UFC ready?
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't know. You don't know until you bring these guys in what they're going to do and what they're capable of, or what they could pull off that night, and you don't know. It's got to play out for you to really. You can look. You know how many of these fights on paper tonight I thought were going to be fucking the craziest fights you've ever seen in your life, and then there's pushing against the cage and fucking, you know, and then there's guys that you don't see coming and have these unbelievable knockdown, drag them out wars. So you don't know until it plays out. Everybody, you know, first of all, in this game, everybody thinks they're a fucking expert. Very fucking few really are experts on fighters and fights. And no matter what you think or what you think you know, until it fucking happens, you never know, you know? You can have an idea. It's like Yoel Romero versus Costa, the whole week leading up to that fight, on an unbelievably stacked card, I said, that's going to be the fight of the night. That common sense would tell you that unless one of those guys gets clipped early, which they both almost did, that should be a ridiculous fight, and it was. But it doesn't mean it's always going to play out that way.
Then you got a big card for the company this weekend over in China, you know, potential Chinese champion. I'm just curious, do you have a sales pitch for people to get them to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch a
Listen,
title fight?
I you know, when I say this stuff, it comes off because I should be saying this because I'm the guy that sells the fights, but I'm leaving on Thursday. I'm landing in time for the weigh-ins. I'm doing the weigh-ins, the fight, and then going straight to Abu Dhabi. I can't wait for this fight, man. I mean, if you look at Weili Zhang and just go, if you don't know anything about her, go look at her fucking Instagram and just watch this beast train. You know what I mean? And then everybody saw what Jessica Andrade has done and what a badass she is. Brazil loves their champions and loves, you know, if you are a Brazilian and you win a belt, Brazil loves you and they get behind you and they support you. In China, there's never been a Chinese world champion in the UFC. So it's a very important fight for the sport, for the history of the sport, and for, you know, the global growth of the sport.
I was going to say, can you put into words like how big it is? I mean, we saw like with the NBA, right? Like Yao Ming, once that happened, everything changed, right? I mean, is that the potential type of moment we're talking about on Saturday?
Yeah, it's that big. It's that big. What I always tell you guys, listen, basketball's great. Ball's great. It's all fun to watch. I'm a huge football fan. I go to fucking 3 Celtics games a year, et cetera, et cetera. But when you get one of your own, looks like you, talks like you, and comes from where you come from, and they become a fucking world champion, changes everything, man. Changes everything. If Weili Zhang becomes a world champion this weekend, it is massive in China. If Jessica Andrade beats her, Brazilians love their champion. So it's a fun fight.
What did you think about seeing Conor McGregor out in the news again? He gave a pretty extensive interview. I mean, did you watch much of it? Did you take anything out of it? What do you see about it?
Yeah, you know, you know, Conor and I talk, you know, at least a couple times a month, and I think he needed to do that. I didn't tell him to do it. You know, he did that on his own, and good for him.
The one thing that wasn't addressed was the New York Times article earlier this year that accused him of being under investigation for sexual assault. Do you know anything about that?
I know.
Do you know, I mean, is that factoring into future plans?
I know zero about that. To be honest with you, the back and forth that I've had with him about that it's not him, it's somebody else, and you know, so I don't know.
Last thing for me, you're taking some heat right now for the Darren Till matchup with Kelvin Gastelum earlier this year. You said maybe we rushed Till a little bit, maybe we need to settle back down on him. He goes up the middleweight, you put him in there with Kelvin Gastelum.
That's the fight he wants.
So did you say, hey,
We did.
we should have settled a little bit?
Yes, we did.
And he said, hell no.
That's the fight I want. Yep.
Like that?
We went to him and said, you sure this is the fight you want? He's moving up. You sure the Gastelum's the fight? That's the fight I want. So, love it.
Anthony Johnson said he wants to come back at heavyweight. Have you spoken to him?
No.
Because ESPN's
How long's he been out?
since
3 years?
a couple years. I think before he came out, said he's preparing for an MMA return at heavyweight.
We'll see.
And Paige VanZant's been in the headlines a lot. Her contract is coming up, saying she's making more money on Instagram than in the UFC. Have you spoken to her at all, too?
Yeah. Good for her. That's awesome. Listen, if a fighter can make more money doing other things, Good for her.
Is there any truth to Usman and Colby fighting at MSG? Colby says he's agreed to it, and it's on Usman at this point.
Yeah,
That's gonna happen there.
yeah.
Have you talked to Cejudo since like last week?
What's that?
Have you talked to Henry Cejudo since you mentioned that he was going to need to defend the title or
Have I talked to who?
Cejudo? Henry Cejudo.
No, no. I haven't talked to Henry.
He keeps calling Jose Aldo in his social media.
Yeah. Tell him to start calling Benavidez.
Dana,
Yeah.
it's been a great season, 10 episodes. Can you talk about what fighter has impressed you the most, and if you think that any of these guys that you now have contracted have a shot to go get that belt?
God, I don't know. I mean, to think back to the whole season, I mean, Rowe was impressive last week. And then, what's his name? Weaver. Weaver was fun. It's been a good season. There's been a lot of good guys. I'm excited now to see these guys come in and start performing in the UFC.
What about this show?
I mean, when you go into my my war room, right, and the whole wall of all the fights that are coming up, we put these blue stickers on the ones that are from the contender. I mean, the whole wall of all the fights coming up are all blue stickers. I mean, these guys are
Sadiq.
yeah,
It's the best fight. I mean, you have a lot of great fighters that are coming up through this show. Does it really excite you just to know that you kind of were able to bring them up in front of everyone?
yeah, and we were just looking. We have what's the kid's name? Cooper, and O'Malley's coming back. Between the two of those guys, I want to say 6 million people have watched their first fight in the Contender Series. So I say it all the time when I talk to you guys, whether you get signed or you don't get signed, the amount of people that see you is massive. So win, lose, or draw, this experience changes your life.
What's the Diaz Masvidal update?
I don't have an update on that.
One last question on Peter Barrett. He mentioned in his post-fight press conference with Borisenko that he's normally a featherweight, and he took this fight at 155.
Yeah.
If you mentioned that if he's ready, he can make the weight for the Boston card. Just curious, is the contract only for lightweight?
No.
Featherweight?
Yeah, he can fight whatever he wants to. Yeah, he can fight at 45 or 50. I would suggest he goes to his own weight in the UFC. Yeah.
Hey, Dana?
Yeah.
Dana, do you look at the contender series as something that is a mechanism for you to get talent, or is it more of a programming content for the UFC brand?
No. I'm never looking for content or programming. I'm always looking for talent. Yeah. This show was designed to not only find the best up-and-coming talent, but to expose them to as many eyeballs as possible. It's always my goal.
One more. I think I know your answer on this, but the legal hearings that are happening this week on the antitrust stuff, I'm assuming you probably pay people to worry about that, so you don't have
Yeah.
to. But do you have any?
I literally know nothing about it.
Right.
If you honestly asked me a question about that, I couldn't answer it at all. I know nothing about it.
Anything else?
Good? Thank you, guys.